Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This video was made for entertainment purposes and is transformative in nature. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Black World TV, the new black media, black by popular demand. Family, this video is about black excellence, and in this regards is pertaining to Lewis Hamilton breaking a new world record. Lewis Hamilton put everyone, including Michael Schumacher, in his rearview mirror at the F1 Portuguese Grand Prix in Portugal on Sunday. Hamilton took the lead for good from teammate Valtteri Bottas on lap 20 of the 66th lap in Portugal. The six-time champion went on to win by a season-best 25.5 seconds over Bottas. Max Verstappen was third, 34.5 seconds back. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was the only other driver to even finish on the lead lap. Leclerc was 1 minute 5 seconds behind. The win was the 92nd of Hamilton's career, topping the record of Michael Schumacher that Hamilton tied 2 races ago at the Nürburgring. Hamilton is likely just 2 races away from mathematically clinching his 7th championship. Hamilton overcame what he described as a cramp in his right calf to extend his leads in the championship to what looks to be an insurmountable 77 points with 5 races remaining. I owe it all to these guys back at the factory for just tremendous work, Hamilton said. They're continuously innovating and pushing the barrier even higher every year. It's just a privilege working with them, and I'm so grateful for all the moments. The reliability has been absolutely incredible. I could have only ever dreamed to be where I am today, Hamilton said. I didn't have a magic bullet when I chose to come to this team and partner with these great people, but here I am. I can tell you that I'm just trying to make the most of it every single day. Hamilton's 92nd win was his 71st for Mercedes. The other 21 came with McLaren. Yeah, 92 race wins, Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff said. Who thought that when we embarked on the project in 2013? It's almost a surreal amount of wins. It's his absolute passion, energy, everything that he puts into the sport. Quote, the talent, the ability. He's just standing out, unquote. Well, with the record in his pocket and a record-tying 7th Drivers' Championship all but clinched, one more bit of unfinished business for Hamilton is a contract extension with Mercedes that is yet to happen. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff knows that with every dominating victory, Hamilton's price tag only goes up. It's huge, Wolff said. We have to sell plenty of inventory, sell some buildings just to come up with the money, unquote. Wolff has also defended Lewis Hamilton from other drivers critiquing Hamilton's ability and talents. You know, when Hamilton scored 70 of his 91 victories with Mercedes, which has dominated in F1 since 2014, and he's helped Britain to win 5 of his 6 titles, the Mercedes F1 boss Wolff felt it was wrong for Hamilton's high win percentage of 34.87% to be used against him in the argument about his place among racing greats. Quote, I read that, and in my opinion, that's not quite fair, Wolff said. Winning races and winning championships are always in his sports a team exercise, but you need to put yourself in a position that you end up in the best car. You can see lots of talented and skilled drivers took wrong decisions or not well advised decisions. In that respect, it was him, Lewis Hamilton, who joined Mercedes in 2013, and it is him that sits in the car and is able to execute on track with a tool that we provide to him. But it's also a tool. We couldn't achieve the records that we have, and he probably couldn't achieve the records without the right car, full stop. I don't want to allow these voices that say, well, he drives a Mercedes, it's obvious that he wins so many races. The drivers that say that, they should analyze why they haven't found the way into a Mercedes. You know, while I'm on this point, it's funny because there's Ferraris and other great cars that are in the Grand Prix or that are in the F1 racing. And yet, because Lewis Hamilton happens to win using Mercedes, well, they use that as a benchmark to say this is the reason why Lewis Hamilton is winning his races, when in fact it has everything to do with skill.
This future is incredibly bright, or has the potential to be incredibly bright. And with the new people coming in,
Just to give you a little bit of history, ahead of his Nürburgring race, Stewart, this Sir Jackie Stewart that is, 81, said he could never regard Hamilton among F1's greatest drivers. He also described Hamilton as having an unfair advantage over his rivals. Such is the dominance of his all-conquering Mercedes team. Quote, I get knocked by many people, particularly by older drivers, said Hamilton, who's 35. They have a bee in their bonnet, and I don't know why. I have so much respect for the past legends, even though they do continue to speak negatively about me all the time. I still hold them in high regard because I know it was difficult for them, but in 20 years' time, I can promise you that I will not be talking down any young driver that is coming through. There's a responsibility as an older driver to shine the light and to encourage. Well, Lewis Hamilton, as a side note, that's because you have a lot of class, and where a lot of these white guys, they have a lot of racist tendencies and biases, and why they say negative things about you. But I digress. There is always talk in sport about who's the greatest, past and present, but it is impossible to compare. It is not important to me. I have made lots of mistakes, but that is life. Yes, you can be remembered for having the most wins, and that is something special to have, but it is the obstacles I have faced. Everyone has a different journey and a different way of doing things, and you should not be knocked for that. Hamilton also paid tribute to his father, Anthony, in the wake of his landmark achievement. Anthony worked multiple jobs to fund Lewis's formative career, but the father-son duo did not speak for a number of years after Lewis sacked him as his manager in 2010. Quote, I called my dad and stepmother Linda after the race and spoke to them, and there were definitely a lot of emotions, added Hamilton, his voice breaking. My dad and I have never been so close. It is remarkable, and it makes me so much happier that we talk a lot, which I never thought we would do. We were together last weekend, and we now have grown up conversations about all sorts: politics, food, training, relationships. I never thought that I would be in that place with him. Just calling him now, I said, geez, do you remember when we had bacon sarnies watching the races? Or when we won the karting championship and we sang "We Are the Champions" driving home? We just reminisce a lot. It has been an emotional roller coaster. He sent me a text the night before the race and said, "You know what to do. I know you are going to do it." That is how he has been from day one. Family is everything, unquote. Family also, there was another interesting part of Lewis's career that was pretty remarkable, and that's when he tied Michael Schumacher's record at 91 wins in F1. Immediately after the race, and on live television, Schumacher's son, Mick, presented Hamilton with the helmet that the seven-time world champion had used in his final season in 2012. And then there's another part where Lewis Hamilton, being a conscious black man, he also stood up for Breonna Taylor by wearing a t-shirt that says "Arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor." On the back of the t-shirt, of course, it has Breonna Taylor's picture, and then it has the words "Say her name." Well, just like clockwork, and just like how white supremacy works, I know there's going to be some people that's going to come on and say, well, why do you have to bring up race? Because race is in everything. It's in all facets of our life. You can't get around it. And so with that, after Lewis Hamilton wore his Breonna Taylor t-shirt, of course, Formula One, they moved to rule out a repeat of Hamilton's Breonna Taylor t-shirt. In other words, they came up with rules and regulations that's going to prevent people like Lewis Hamilton from speaking out, being conscious, and saying what's on their mind. Now they have to... I haven't really gone through this article, and I'm not going to right now because I'm in the middle of doing this video, but I have to say that they're making rules and regulations so that black men like Lewis Hamilton can't do things of that nature by educating or shining the light on injustice, especially when it's anti-black racism. This is Black World TV, hoping you like and share this video. We'll see you in the next one.
So there to be broken, said Michael Schumacher. The record is broken. Lewis Hamilton wins the Portuguese Grand Prix. Hamilton has more wins than any other driver in Formula One history.
Get in there, Lewis. What a race, mate. You are rewriting the history books. Well done, mate. What a fantastic job today. Really awesome.
Lewis, 92. 92.
Wow, guys. I actually couldn't have done this without all of you. Thank you so much for continuing to believe in me, continuing to strive for perfection. It's such an honor to work with you guys. Thank you.
And you, Lewis, a real honour. It is a real honour, genuinely.
Amazing job, guys. Amazing.